Welcome to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. Today I'm touching on becoming a first-time mompreneur and sharing how I'm prepping for this next chapter in my life. This is a conversation that I've been having a little bit online and of course seeing from other mompreneurs as well. But I think it's important to keep sharing about this, keep talking about this, because it impacts the things that you do in your business and obviously in your personal life when you bring a kid into this world. As a business owner right now, I am having to deal with maternity leave in a very different factor than I would say most like 9-to-5 people have to deal with, where they can go on maternity leave, they can take it, they get paid for it. The issue when you're a business owner is you're the face of your brand oftentimes, and that's the business I've built. So it's looking a lot different for us as I'm planning for maternity leave here at the Legal Paige, and honestly just how I'm prepping to be a mompreneur here in hopefully the next couple of weeks, if I haven't had my kid already before this episode airs. So let's talk about this and dive into prepping for mompreneur life.
You're listening to the Legal Paige podcast, where we chat about life and business with a legal twist. I'm Paige, attorney and photographer helping online businesses and creatives tackle their business dreams without breaking out in hives. No more legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast features simple, bite-sized advice that'll have you legally legit in no time. Are you ready? Let's get started.
I am excited to get into this episode because the word mompreneur is just one that I've kind of wanted to hold for a while. I wasn't ready. I definitely, like my husband and I planned for this pregnancy. We planned for me to kind of like move from just like a solopreneur life to having a kid and being a mompreneur. I'm excited to finally boldly claim that tag and line for myself and hashtag mompreneur. I'm so excited about it. But one of the biggest things that we're doing here at TLP is prepping for this next chapter, because I work on my business a lot, like 40 to 50 hours a week. I am all in with the Legal Paige. I'm also the only attorney at the Legal Paige. We have lots of like additional outsourced help. I have 2 employees. I have a digital marketing manager and an operations manager that are both full-time people with TLP. I also have a copywriter and social media manager, and I have a podcast manager as well. So all of those people help run the back end of things, but honestly, I'm the front end of that. So I have to, take photos, do reels for social media while planning them out with my social media manager, but I'm the one that has to like obviously be the face of that. I'm also the voice of my podcast, so I have to record podcasts in advance and prep for maternity leave. And then I'm the attorney. So any type of like contracting we need to do, if we need to review blogs, if we need to, review like guides that are out there, collaborations we're dealing with, all of that are things that I touch in the business. So I do work all the time with the Legal Paige, and I'm very, very nervous as a first-time mompreneur to not be in my business full-time. Any mompreneurs out there, first-time moms that have experienced this while being a business owner, I'm here for any tips you have, so share them my way. You can find me at the Legal Paige on Instagram. I'm all about it. Please send me all of your valuable tips for becoming a mompreneur. But I wanted to just talk about how I'm prepping for maternity leave, and I'm hoping to have set myself up for success. Having a child and really adjusting to a newborn in that beginning phase is really important to me. I was just having this conversation with my social media manager over Voxer today. So it's kind of apropos that I'm talking about this in this episode, mostly because I don't know what to expect. There's so much unknown for me. And Anna, who's my social media manager, she just had her second child in July, and she had her first kid about a year, 18 months prior to that. So she's like a new mom as well, but has kind of like luckily already gone through 18 months with her first kid. And now she has her second kid, so she knew what to expect. But she's been giving me lots of advice too on, there's only so much you can mentally prepare for. For me, I'm very nervous about having a newborn. I've never really liked newborns. They terrify me. They're like fragile and tiny, and I just like it when they can sit up and, have the strength to hold up their own head, and they're just not as fragile. Like, I like that phase. I used to be a nanny in college and law school, and I liked kids that were like at least in elementary school because I like them to like do things, be able to talk, be able to go to the bathroom. Newborns are very scary. So I am mentally preparing for the fact that like I will love my kid, but I may not love the newborn stage. And that's something that Anna said to me over Voxer today, and it really hit me where I was like, okay, I'm prepping to be a mompreneur. I'm also prepping for this like really challenging newborn stage that I'm fully aware of and I've educated myself enough on. But Anna was like, at the end of the day, Paige, like you're still going to love your kid. It's okay to not love the newborn phase. She was like, I'm just waiting for my, new daughter to get to 3 months because that's just like such a pivotal time that I remember from my first child. And it's just like mentally preparing with you and your spouse and your support system when you become a new mom to help you through that stage. So, personally, I'm going to be dealing with a lot, and I know that I will probably not take the same maternity leave as like the W-2 world. I don't plan on taking 12 weeks where I'm completely out of my business. That's just not a reality for me. I don't have the ability to like completely step out of TLP. I can do it for a short period of time. And so I really want to try for like 2 to 4 weeks at the beginning to be completely out and have my team take over everything, including my email inbox and my social media DMs and like everything. Like I will not be available. I just also know my personality. And so if I'm giving any advice to you guys as I'm prepping, and I'll probably have better advice, like hopefully I can do a podcast 3 months postpartum and be like, here's the reality and what I learned from that previous podcast episode that was true and not true. I also have the personality where I can't completely step away. I am so invested in my business. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. And I'm also like glued to the business. I also run an online business. So it's very different where I can still like feed my kid and be with my kid and then check on things on my phone quickly, or have my spouse be with my kid for 15 minutes while mom goes and slacks with her team super fast for 15 minutes. And then I'm back with my family. I know that the first 2 to 3 weeks are going to be a fog. I know that I'm not going to get a lot of sleep. I'm just going to be a different human all around. I also don't do well on sleep. So this is going to be really entertaining for Marco and my mom, who will probably be here helping quite a bit, because they just know like Paige is going to be a grumpy human and not herself. And her personality is going to be totally different because she's just tired and hormonal, I hear as well. You go from like all these hormones to while you're pregnant to like no hormones. That'll be fun because I am not good with PMS and hormones. So all of that to say, I am prepping for sure for 2 to 4 weeks of being as away from my business as possible. I also have kind of a weird situation happening because our business has a sale at the end of the year, and it's one of our biggest sales. It's super important for us to still launch. And so we're not only prepping for just like general maternity leave with me planning out social media posts and doing a bunch of batch recording of reels, batch recording of podcasts, but I'm also having to literally prep an entire launch before it occurs. And my team and I have like plan A, if this occurs and Paige is able to like be back from maternity leave by that point, at least part-time, or like even really short periods of part-time for the launch, then we're going with plan A. But we also have a plan B where it's like, if Paige cannot be a part of the business, this is how the team is still going to launch without her. And I've never done that before and I'm terrified, but we also have to prep for it. So to be very frank with you, it's a lot. It's a lot. I've had a lot of stress surrounding prepping to become a mompreneur and to have a business and a family life now. My husband has been so supportive with me, like going all in with the legal page and with my law firm, Griffith Law, and with all of my other entrepreneurial endeavors, whether that's long-term rentals with houses, whether that's being a photographer. There's so many things I love to do. And I just know it's going to change now because it's not just Marco and I. Like there's a kid involved. I have to dedicate my whole life, to this kid as well. But I still love running businesses and I'm never going to stop doing that. So I have my spouse's support on the fact that I do have to, split my time between my business and my family life. So I'm not going to be all end all. I'm totally going off script here, you guys. If you can't tell, I don't know. I'm not sticking with my outline that my podcast manager gave me. Real life mompreneur talking and prepping as a pregnant lady right now. I feel so strongly about still being like a female business owner and a mom at the same time. Women are powerful, powerful beings where we can have so many boxes open all at the same time and we can multitask and we can do all of the things that lots of men don't, they biologically cannot do that. They have to close a box and open another one. And it's going to be cool for me to see how I can balance my business with my mom life. I don't know. I'm just prepping the best I can right now to hopefully be prepared for it. But I honestly just know things happen and there's so much unexpected as well. One of the things I'm also doing is setting up really good boundaries and guidelines for childcare. I'm at home. I work from home. I'm literally in an office in my house right now. I realize that I may have to do different things when the kid comes. I may have to leave my house to go and work at a coffee shop. I may have to go over to a friend's house that doesn't have kids and record podcasts. I may have to take calls outside versus in my office because my kid and my spouse are going to be here and I want them to have time where my husband isn't trying to keep the kid quiet. I just want him to be a baby, right? And so it's gonna look a little bit different because I do work at home. And so I'm aware of that. We also have really good support system. My parents are in town and I'm very, very close with my parents. If you follow me on social media at all, my mom's my best friend and my dad and I are super close as well. And we all hang out all the time. I go up to my parents' house probably 5 times a week. It's a problem, but my mom is going to be here for at least the first week or two. And then, we'll transition probably Marco into being full care provider after about 2 to 4 weeks when him and I kind of transition a little bit of me getting back into the business. And then I would say by week 8 or 8 to 12, I will be back working with the legal page between part-time and full-time, maybe not fully 40 hours a week or 35 or whatever hours I work every week. I'm an entrepreneur. It changes, varies all the time. And, by that 8 to 12 week period, 2 to 3 months, I'm sure I will be doing a lot more within the business, but I've prepped accordingly so that we have a good 2 to 3 months of content. So batching is super important right now. Like I said, we're batching podcasts. I'm pre-recording right now through the end of 2021. I'm batching blogs. We have a legal intern who helps me. So her and I have been drafting and finalizing and improving all blog posts through the end of 2021. Those are our 2 big content buckets. We've also prepared for emails. So instead of, we do bi-weekly newsletters, and then we also have email sequences and things like that my copywriter and I work on together. We're doing all of that till the end of the year versus sometimes we just work 2 to 4 weeks ahead. Right now we're working 8 to 12 weeks ahead. Emails in my inbox as well. So my operations manager will take over my inbox. And then I also have recently brought on an attorney to my law firm. And so she will be taking over like all legal inquiries and legal clients during my maternity leave as well. So taking over my email. I think that's really important for all of us prepping wise. You need to set up a good support system, not only on the front end with like childcare, but also on the back end with what do you do day to day? You're probably in emails. You're probably, checking your online task management system. You're probably checking DMs. You're probably checking Facebook messages. All of that needs to be taken care of when you're away. So we're making sure to do that. I'm also doing some contract updates that only I can touch with the Legal Paige shop prior to my maternity leave. And then obviously those are the things that I know I will probably not touch until the new year. My kid should be born sometime in the middle of October, if all goes well. And so contract updates and things dealing with contracts probably won't happen. And I won't be like fully out of the fog that I've heard, at least for a month. And so I am prepping for the fact that like to give my best attorney effort and to be the page of the Legal Paige lawyer-wise that I need to be for contracts and contract updates. I'm not going to be doing anything until at least end of December, probably beginning of 2022. And then new products. We have a few new products we've been working on. We're trying to put as many out by maternity leave as possible. I am now to the point that I have, only a couple weeks here when this episode comes out. Like I said, I may have already had the kid. And as I've been prepping, I'm realizing we're saying no to a lot of new products, new collaborations, because I don't have the ability and time to do that and adequately prepare my team for me being gone for a good chunk of time. For speaking engagements and conferences, I'm prepping a little bit differently. So I did have to say no to some big speaking engagements in November. I just knew like there was really no way to know how I would feel postpartum, and I didn't really want to leave my kid that soon. I'm also very glad that I said no to those 6 to 8 months ago, because now with, COVID and the variant and just everything happening and travel is getting a bit more restricted, I'm glad I said no to those, but I'm saddened by the fact that I can't go to some really cool conferences at the end of 2021. I will be back probably on the conference circuit March, April of 2022. So I'm giving myself a longer period of time to not travel, just so my spouse and I can really figure out what we're doing with the kid and childcare, and I can kind of get back into my business slowly rather than being gone like right away and hopping on planes all the time. At the end of the day, one of the biggest things I would say preparing for, some type of quasi-maternity leave as an entrepreneur and becoming a mom is know your boundaries, set expectations with your team members, and be prepared for emergencies. So, I'm batching as much as I can. My team and I have we're going to have really clear expectations on when they should be contacting me and when they shouldn't be contacting me. And that literally only for emergencies in the first 2-ish weeks, I want you to text me. I think Marco is probably going to be taking all the apps off my phone. We'll probably be shutting down my computer just so I can solely focus on bonding with my kid because I have a hard time. I'm constantly thinking about my business. So really shutting that off. Hopefully it just comes naturally and biologically. I can't think about anything other than my kid, but I don't know. So we're putting all of those boundaries in place. And then for emergency purposes, my whole team has my phone number and they can text me or call me, which we never do outside of the business. So people always Slack me, email me, or tag me in monday.com, which is our task management. So we're leaving all of that and saying, no, don't do that anymore because Paige isn't going to be popping into the business. Only for emergent purposes would you contact her for XYZ. So making that really clear with my team is super important as I'm prepping. And then also a really strategic thing I did was hire 2 employees, I will say. Being prepared to probably financially put a little bit more into your business for help during this period of time as a new mompreneur is important. That's some advice I would probably give people. And I'm sure will be something I stick with when I talk to you guys, in 3 to 4 months from now, is that investment was priceless for the business because Christina has been on since September of 2020. So I've had over a full year with her, and she knows the business like the back of her hand now. And I trust her. Like, I trust her so much to do all of the things that I need her to do as a digital marketing manager, and like everything with our website and everything with Facebook ads before I leave. And then when I'm gone, like, I just trust her to do all of the things because we've gone through hiccups before and we've figured them out. And she knows what to do now. She's super well equipped. And then my right-hand lady, Casey, who's my operations manager, she was someone I strategically hired at the beginning of 2021 to be near me. I wanted her to be in town or close to town. She lives about 40 minutes away from me. And so we meet up in person. She's primarily remote, but she runs all of the operations. She's our shop manager. She's our affiliate manager, and is like our task doer. Like, she manages everyone completing all of their tasks. So she's a very integrated piece of the puzzle here at TLP. She'll be taking over my inbox, just, like either forwarding things to herself and saying, Paige is out on maternity leave, how can I help? Or answering questions in my inbox herself. That's up to her, honestly, how she wants to go about that. And then I would say she's kind of the top tier of the puzzle for everyone. So her and Christina will basically make all of the decisions, and then decide if we can't make this decision and it is an emergency, Casey will be the one to ultimately decide to text me or call me. So she's going to have the ultimate authority there. That's how we're prepping kind of the hierarchical structure. My copywriter and social media manager just knows that I'll be out. She'll work with Casey on things and try to resolve things operations-wise and social media-wise if there's any hiccups. But Anna and I have been on Voxer constantly, like nonstop, I would say, for the past couple of weeks. And I have decided to ease like all of my client work. So one-on-one client work through Griffith Law. I've also decided to ease any collaborations, any new contracts for these next 2 to 3 weeks prior to having my child, so that I can prep solely for all of the content going out, all of the emails, all of the social media posts prior to me leaving, so that I can fully be detached from the business when I have my baby. And then I wanted to end this episode with some like advice to a newly pregnant mompreneur to be, who may be a little scared and wondering if she can be both a mom and a business owner. I don't have all the answers yet. And to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody does. Like, I look at a good friend of mine, Caitlin James, in the industry. She has 3 kids, and she's told me, like, I still don't know. I've got some good tips for people. You guys, she has a really good YouTube video actually on like being a working mom. Go look at it. But even she says, like, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. And sometimes you just have to like take life as it comes. I would tell like newly pregnant mompreneurs to be that you're going to have ebbs and flows of your pregnancy where you feel like you're not prepared. And like, even if you planned it, like, what did I get myself into? And like, can I still run this business? And you're going to have a lot of fears surrounding it. And my biggest advice is like, push through those fears and try to set yourself up for success in the best way possible. Like, prep for everything in advance so that you're not stressed out to run your business and take care of your kid and prep for all of this like personal stuff. Have a meal train, prep for meals prior to having your kid. Have a plan in place for like who's taking over what in your business, so you can try to mentally detach and know that things are taken care of. Have trustworthy people in your business that can help you. Set up a support system as well for childcare. Like, who is it going to be? Who's going to be able to care for the kid while you are like slowly easing back into part-time work for your business, instead of like kind of willy-nilly not knowing what that's going to look like? Talk with your spouse about budget and how long you can take off, and, what can you make work? And, also just thinking strategically as a business owner as well, how long can your business go without you? That's a big thing, because unlike traditional maternity leave, I would say in the United States, which is also BS, by the way, like Europe has 6 to 12 months and it just frustrates me. I don't think 12 weeks is enough. We're not getting into that in this episode. And this is the end of the episode. So I'm definitely not getting into that and, digging myself a hole there. But I think for many mompreneurs, like really visualizing, okay, my business can survive past my maternity leave if I'm gone for 2 months or if I'm gone for 4 months, or maybe it's 6 months. Like, how long are you okay not having an income? Are you the sole breadwinner in your business? That's probably going to be a factor. For me, I'm the sole breadwinner, and like Marco's going to be probably either like a stay-at-home dad or like a part-time, dad and entrepreneur. Like he runs his own businesses too. But we know that like I am the one who brings in the most money here. So it's important for me to get back to my business. I also don't think the Legal Paige, which is literally my name, can survive without me probably past 3 or 4 months. Like I need to get back into it. I need to still be visible. And I like doing that. It's something I really enjoy. So I will want to do it. I'm sure after 2 months, I'm going to want to be back in like entrepreneur mode while still being a mom. So really just extending a lot of grace to yourself as a newly pregnant mompreneur to be. You're going to have a lot going on with your pregnancy as is. You're going to have a lot of emotions. It's going to be okay to like cry and freak out. I've done that a few times. It's also going to be okay to like envision what this life is going to look like with your new family. And it's going to be okay on the back end as well. Your business is still going to be there when you get back. Just plan accordingly is what I would say. So that's what I have for this episode. I feel like I kind of went off topic, but hopefully it was helpful for many of you listening that are newly pregnant or thinking about starting a family and you run a business. And I'm very excited because this was like pre-Paige having a kid. And I can't wait to listen back to this episode and then record what it's like to actually be a mompreneur to a tiny human that is like 3 to 6 months old. I'm going to do a follow-up episode in that period of time. So I hope you guys look forward to that coming up here shortly. I feel like 3 to 6 months is going to go by in the blink of an eye. All that to say, I am just so excited to grow my family. This is something I've wanted for a while, but I was truly not ready for. I wasn't ready to have a kid in my 20s, and I don't know why, but I am ready now that I'm 30, and it's just super cool that I get to have like someone who has my blood and my traits and my spouses and all of those things. I can't wait to meet him. My maternity leave is going to look a little different than most. That's what I wanted to chat about in this episode. But I also look ahead to all of the things that I'm going to be able to do for my family because of the business that I've created. And that's really, honestly, the ultimate goal, right? Is you create a business that works beautifully and intertwines with the life that you wanted to live. And I'm hopeful that TLP is that. I'm hopeful that I've created this entrepreneurial lifestyle where I can be a mom and be an entrepreneur all at the same time. And I hope my plan helped me doing that. So if you're needing some advice on how to become, a mompreneur to be, or if you are a mompreneur and you've got 2 to 5 years of experience on me, please, 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 please send them my way. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, just hop on over to my DMs at the Legal Paige. It's really nice to just talk to other people who are in this same situation or have recently gone through it, because I truly think this is a time for moms to all bond together and really talk about like still being business owners, but still being, like mothers as well. Anyway, that's the episode, you guys. I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. See, I told you being legally legit isn't so scary. Be sure to visit thelegalpage.com for all show notes. And it would be super awesome if you could head over to iTunes and leave a review. Last but not least, don't forget to join my free Facebook group for unlimited legal and biz Q&A. Chat soon, Legal Pagers.